with 4. And then
perfect. No, that was a good
oh,
tap.
thank you very much.
I know, right?
That's fucking awesome. Happy birthday to ya, Aries. Happy birthday to ya. Or whenever you find this, I hope you're having a happy now. All right, Aries season, it's your birthday. That's very good. I hope you have a great birthday. I feel like your reading's going to be a little bit longer, so maybe you want to save this video and give yourself space to actually absorb it. Maybe you'll have to come back to it a few times. I'm sure you'll be busy this month. And getting your energy back, right? The sun being in Aries, that's a exalted place for the sun. So remember, any of you who are Aries sun specifically, or if you know any Aries suns in your life, that's a beautiful energy to be around. It's actually a gift, according to Indian astrology, that you did something good in another life. That's why you're an Aries. And wherever you have Aries in your map, regardless of the sign, or if there's even any stars there, remember, this is the light is shining through that house. So there's positivity there, there's power there. The sun represents the king. So that has some responsibility attached to it, but the king also has, because of the responsibilities that have been handled prior, there's actually a lot of opportunity that also comes through in that space. I also saw Uranus in the 3rd house, so I just want to touch on that a little bit. We're going to use this book, Robert Hand's Planets in Transit, Life Cycles for Living. I love this series. This para research series is amazing. So Uranus in the 3rd house. So let's talk about the 3rd house as a foundation. 3rd house is your neighborhoods, your short little travels, so they say, your friends, your ability, your somewhat your day-to-day. It can also be a house of communication. So with Uranus combining there, let's work our way backwards now. So there could be a lot of communication this month, a lot of emails or texting, calling, bookings, right? Different kinds of things. It could come from afar too, or through some kind of digital means. You can tell I was born before cell phones because I still use this as nonverbal phone. Hello. So maybe you want to catch up with some old friends, or they might just, like, people might pop up. Now your ability, I like your ability with Uranus. So this could be where your ability could be sharpened by learning something different, or expanding upon something, or maybe just maybe you use, for instance, like YouTube to figure something out, or you call a friend again and be like, hey, do you know anything about this? Or like, hey, I heard I got my eyes peeled for this. Could you keep an eye out for me? And so there could be a lot of support that's also coming from around you, right? That 3rd house neighborhood kind of energy, and then also that of afar. I would probably expect the tempo to be a little bit faster, but this is probably more your natural speed, so you're going to probably be feeling more in your zone. But because the tempo, if you will, is increasing, I would say that the little details are going to matter a lot. So I wouldn't necessarily, because sometimes Uranus is fast, like a lightning bolt, right? So say you are emailing somebody, or you're texting somebody, or you're calling, I would maybe just, you could use your intuition and just flow with it, but maybe proofread it before you send it. things like that. If it happens to be, say, more contractual or technical, you know, there's nothing wrong. Don't feel rushed. For instance, if you're like, oh, I have to get this information to this person really fast, or I need to get to this place really fast, I would still give yourself time, because as you're going along, Uranus is going to create little changes. It'll facilitate change. I'd also say, as Uranus is the third house, I would electrical things in the neighborhood, electronics. I don't know what Mercury's doing. I could see this as like car batteries or like something to do with the electrical system. Uranus in the third. It's interesting. If you're having issues with your car, then watch Scorpio, because they talked about that. Or if you're relating this as a metaphor. Let's see. Yeah, mental faculties, or like mental attitudes, are also going to change, which is awesome. Maybe it's just that positivity of the sun. But this could give a person an opportunity to see things that they haven't seen before. Maybe perceive things, understand things in a different way. What else? I guess in an internal way, this Uranus in the third could also show me something about maybe you just want to ask yourself, what are the changes you're looking forward to? You know, I feel like we've been talking about this for a while. Like, what do you want? What do I want? What do we want? And the essence of Aries energy has seemingly been pretty satisfied for the most part, at least those coming through this channel, right? Pretty satisfied for the most part. Nothing too crazy happening. Even some really beautiful things happening. But when we're contented with something, like, I like that, I'm comfortable here. It reminds me of the Libra reading last month or the month before about getting out of our comfort zone. That could also be a Uranus in the third energy. So if there's been something that's like, I'm comfortable here, but I know that I would like this in the future, but you're not stressing on the timeline of it, this could, I guess, open up some doors. This could have to do with a home in the future, or where you live, family, things like that. So remember to be flexible about your world and yourself. Your world, meaning you and other people, what you're doing, and yourself within this time frame to gain the most benefit. Stay flexible. Maybe I would also say Gemini rules over that third house, so like your lungs, breathing exercises, you know, maybe I could see that someone's actually excited for the change, right? And if you're having a hard time trying to find what to do or where to do it, then remember to talk to other people, because you have a lot of support there. Ace of Cups. Yes, absolutely you do, Aries. Oh, that's really beautiful. So this is feeling energy, right? And this is singular. So this is I feel. Maybe you want to fill in that sentence. I feel. This also has two birds on it. So the I feel is the same with other people in your life. So you're like, Man, I feel like that person is so amazing. You know, I feel so optimistic about the situation. So happy about this job. Like that so happy where I am. The other side of that is the same. The other side feels that way about you when you're in that situation, when you're around that situation. Ace of Cups. Let me have a sip of coffee. I'm not feeling that I'm in a rush to like absolutely push this right now, because I know that I have space and time, but I also know that I can't go, that there's parameters with how much time I can kind of allow myself to float in or to be in, because there are things to do later. I have to go to the dentist. Do you need to go to the dentist? Let's see. Aries. So that's how you're coming into the reading. That's awesome. The strength of your love. The strength of who you are. The third house actually aspects the first house nicely. Person's also feeling stronger about their intuition. Temperance. Okay. So temperance is about something being limited, right? It's so there could, but she's pretty positive in this deck, particularly the way I'm feeling her right now. She's not, because temperance does sort of sit between a rock and a hard place, death and the devil, right? These are huge major arcana. So the point is that if there's any place where you're like, fuck, right? Like, say for instance, Uranus in the third could be like, my battery died while I'm out and about. It's just like, well, you can just call a friend, right? And they'll come and it's all good. So if you get into a spot that's like that, you need help with something, then I see that you have support all around you. And actually the Ace of Cups becomes the Two of Cups. So if the only way that I heard you won't benefit from this, like use this properly, is if you try to be really stubborn and you're like, I don't need any help. Like, I don't want to owe anybody anything. I don't want to, right? Because sometimes when we're like, hey dude, can you help me out? And then someone comes and helps you, we can feel guilty, right? You square, just like Libra square Capricorn. So you two are some of the most independent, naturally independent energy. And you realize that there is a balance that's necessary for things. When someone gives, then you should replenish that energy. But the thing is you always do. You're such a giving, loving person. How often do you help people? All the time, right? So it was just 1313. But you've also overhelped, right? And then that's a whole nother situation. That's when we get into more Cancerian energy, where it's just like I'm feeling used for, when there's an imbalance of giving and taking, that's when a person feels used. You're not gonna, this is not talking about that. Maybe you've just had to experience that. And I heard, thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if I threw a party. What are you doing for your birthday? Are you having a little party? I should at least go celebrate some way, somehow this month. Okay, there's some people you're not supposed to invite to the party, Aries. That's okay. And you know what? Oh, we've talked about this before, but let's go over it again. It's a life lesson. Chariot. It's a life lesson. If for some reason you ever do ask for help and someone is just like disregards it or cuts you down where you feel bad for asking, then they're not your friend and you don't have to worry about it. It just gets all the poo-poo out of the way. If you do happen to drink, you're a drinker or you just like alcohol, whatever. It could even be, this could be any liquid. Like I've been noticing I drink way too much coffee. Maybe you just want to temper the certain liquids you're allowing in. Because it could be the kind of thing where like, ooh, this could even be food. Whatever ooh, this feels good. Temperance says, okay, let me, maybe you want to, what's an exercise here? Say instead of being like, okay, I have a cup of coffee, I could have another cup of coffee. I could have another, but it's not necessary. The things we're talking about are that which we want. We don't need it. That's different, right? We can't really drink, technically speaking, it'd be pretty hard to drink too much water. It would be pretty improbable to have too much love in our life, right? These things can happen. It's good. It's always good. But that which is like just a want, maybe you want to really be intentional, where you're kind of like, you know, what is this? How does the samurai work? If these were my last moments, how do I want to feel? Right? And so in that, it would be like, wow, what if just the mental exercise, because it changes the feeling, right? The mental goes in, I guess it goes more this way. Although the energy felt this way, but that's probably the toroidal field, I feel like comes through our head and then down, right? Towards the earth. Point is that Samurai says, again, if these were my last moments, how would I want to behave or feel or whatever? So you could be like, wow, if this was the only, say you were the lucky one to have this cup of coffee, then enjoy it like that, right? Where you live, enjoy it like that. Who you love, enjoy it like that. Okay, let's choose different cards. Which ones? Aries. Okay, let's choose one of these. Aries. Aries. Okay, we have the card of growth, the wish card, the abundance card. Just a minute. There is some kind of exponential growth. If there's, okay, you have very positive energy here, but let's talk about it. Well, how do I do? Let me back up. Let me gather my thoughts before we just... If for some reason there's something in your life that you're like, this hasn't been working, it's kind of like an underlying problem that you've been picking up on. You know, it'd kind of be like, man, my teeth have been aching. Or like Scorpio was talking about, which is what I was going to mention, their reading again is coming up, so maybe that's something. You know, if there's this underlying problem, or you can feel it, it's intuitive even, but it's also sort of physical. And you know, again, that you're needing to change this, and or you could be in a position of even wanting to change it. That could happen really quickly. And and again, if there's any, but if there's anything that again has been an issue, then that I feel like is gonna bubble, and sort of get a little, go to a more extreme level. So you're gonna have to make a choice about something. It goes to a more serious level, let's put it that way. I would also say that there could be a little bit of jealousy in this time, Aries. I know that word is interesting with you. I feel like whether you realize it or not, people can be jealous of you or envious of you, even when you do small things. It's like, but this would be, again, if anyone's in your life that is not happy for your growth, that is not, they don't have to be supportive necessarily, holding your hand, always asking you about it exactly, but there's nothing wrong with support. But if, for instance, again, if it goes to the extreme where like someone's mad at what you're doing, that's in a very positive way, you know, especially in ways of change, like, then again, that's just sort of an emphasis of like, I heard that's not love. And someone has a really big wish, like they have like a big, like maybe it's like a dream, but it's, well, it's a wish of abundance. The wish has to do with abundance. But the wish is not achieved. This is like a long-term wish. This is a long-term perspective, long-term thing. Although there's some really awesome, again, I heard gifts happening in this very present moment. I guess you want to be conscious of that. But there's a farther reaching dream. But I guess this path, because you have this journey card, you see that the path is long here. It's not straight. It goes up, it goes down, it goes around. And it keeps going. But what's cool about it is I feel like a person has a bird's eye view on this. Someone has a very interesting bird's eye view on what the path is, or like what needs to be done, or like they trust, there's trust around something being possible. And so who do you trust in your life to help you or to support you? You know, what are your long-term plans? Because I feel like a seed has already been planted. What's that about? Two of Cups. Someone could fall in love, or it feels like that. It's like, well, I heard the growth is exponential. But maybe there could be a little bit of a trigger point, undercurrent stuff, like Saturn stuff, where it's like, not that you don't believe in yourself, because I feel like you do. On the outside. But there's something internal, because this wish card sits in this water. right? And she's sort of like, it's like, I believe it, but there's like an undercurrent of something where it's like, this is hard, or like, this is going to take a really long time. Not that a person gives up on it, but I think the energy going into something feels not always as confident as it wants to. And maybe that's a part of what's healing. You want to trust the healing of that. Yeah. Trust your intuition. We have trust your intuition in ways of work, expressing yourself, and where your soul's at. There's also something in relation to home. Oh, I see what's happening. When it gets in this, if it's not exactly negative, but again, it feels a little dense. It feels a little bit like, I don't know if I can do this. That energy is only happening because the person sits in that that crevice and doesn't say to themselves, how can I have other people help me? Because you're not meant to do it. Virgo's been talking about this too. That's so awesome. The zodiac has been learning from each other in this. It's a big adjustment ways. Like there was Scorpio and Aries, and then it was Libra and Taurus. And now Aries is going, there's Cancer, then Cancer and Sagittarius. And now maybe this will continue, Aries and Virgo, which is very good. What we want with those is, it's kind of a seesaw energy. So what we're trying to do is have both people hold position, and both people, seesaw only works with two people. So you could think about your inconjunctions like that. Side note. One second. Okay. So there's freedom on the journey, and there's freedom in relation. Abundance creates freedom. So maybe there's something financial here. Also, we have the card of observe. What are these? What are these ones? There we go. We have the card of patience, then the card of support, then the card of celebrate. There's so much, I heard there is so much you can do, a person can do on their own. So much. Right, this is a fisherman. They're feeding themselves, they know where to go, when to be there, what to put on the hook. This could be just for them, but I'm sure they'll catch enough. They're a good fishermen, so they'll probably catch enough to share. But when we move more into this, right, I heard, I catch the fish, you cook the fish. That supportive energy, that's so helpful. Please be open to that. I heard, please don't be stubborn. We have the card of trust again. In relation to this abundance and the freedom that brings, let's talk about money for a second. It's a part of our karma. We have it in this life. Perhaps there's something you'd want to simplify in ways of finances. I don't know if you want to trim back a little bit on, you know, if you go over, say, like monthly expenses, it could be like, or it could even be, you could look at it in a yearly sense, like a long-term sense, but I feel like that kind of freaks somebody out a little bit if they were like, how much money do we spend on? But see, that might kick a person into what more of what they want or where they would like their money to go, because money isn't, all money is energy, which is created via your work. However you work, we receive money, right? Then we take that money through the effort given, energy given, we receive something back that gives us energy and something that we can then give to trade for something else, and so it goes and goes and goes. So if there's something that maybe you want to simplify, that could be helpful. Who do you know that's really good with money? I don't know if this would, and maybe that's something to you, like, is good with money to you mean they have a lot of it, or they just know how to manage it? I mean, I guess if you have a lot of money, you know how to manage it, and that's why you have a lot of it. Well, we'll leave it like that. We're not talking to the 1% of the world or what have you. If for some reason you have somebody might have a little bit of a, like a stink about money. We have this noise card. And next to that is flow. So remember, money is like water. It goes in, it goes out. But for some of you, I guess there could be like I saw water through somebody's hands. So if you're wanting to expand now abundance isn't always physical, of course, but we do live in this material world. You are a material being. We have to put food in our body. It is helpful to have shelter over our heads, etc. Right? Cars to drive, all the things to get around. So maybe you want to just sit with, like, what is abundance to you? And maybe it's going through these different worlds, you know, like, what is material abundance to you? How do you feel about money? Because that's a big deal. It does represent, you know, I remember, example, when I was mad at money, not that I was ever mad of growing up poor by any means, and I ain't rich now, but the point is that, like, I used to be frustrated with money because I would see people through the TV or whatever, like, doing things with money that I thought was, like, inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, but the point is that, like, that was my own deal. I had to get over that because that was interrupting, this negative thought about it was interrupting my own flow of even the most fundamental things, right? So maybe you want to nurture, again, perhaps a different perspective, Uranus in the 3rd house, in relation to what it means to have. And always remember that if whatever we need, we receive. 98.9% of the time. And it usually comes because we ask for something, we receive it. Maybe not, maybe it doesn't exactly look like what we want. But if you're specific, sometimes you can get pretty close, right? How you want to feel about it, what do you want it to be, etc. So maybe you want to, could be a very good time to recharge some energy to have a different perspective about it, right? And if whoever your spirit guides are, or your teachers or what have you, maybe there's something about those guides that could also help you. This could also be some kind of, I heard professional advice could be helpful. That does not make you a weak person to ask for help. Because, okay, let's put it this way. If you're one of the, I'm seeing a person where here's some shadow energy. It's like, say a person feels weak for asking for help, right? But usually the person that's going to feel that way is actually a really big giver in and of themselves. They help people all the time, right? But again, they help people all the time, but they think it's weak in and of themselves to ask for help. Well, just remember that subconsciously what a person would also be saying to themselves is, if they think it's weak to ask for help, then whoever you help, you think they're weak. And I know that's not how you feel. Right? Does this make sense? Of course you don't think you're weak. They're weak. You love them, and you realize that you can be of service to them, and that's a part of you, and that feels good to you. So remember that other people in your life want to be of service to you. They want to love you. They want to help you. Okay? Does that make sense? Did that simplify? Patience, child. Do we need any more? Someone's looking so sharp. Look at this giving and receiving energy. Look at this Nine of Cups. Look at this Magician. Look at this Star. Oh, that is really part of the truth here. This is also Uranus in the 3rd house. Maybe some of you have that. Your 6th and your 9th house are also highlighted, so 369. 369. Which goes back to 9, right? And I heard someone say, I hope this goes really well. Which means they have faith. It didn't feel like expectation. It felt like faith. I really hope this goes well. You know, I heard, I hope this goes well for you. I hope this goes well for me. And then it kind of, because that faith sort of like grew or expanded a little bit, and it becomes like, almost like a I know. Like, I heard, I know it'll be okay. King of Cups. Here's this high level maturity and high level intuition, right? High level faith here. I believe it will, right? I hope it will. I believe that it will. And then when it happens, because I heard it always happens, then it will be, I knew it would. So again, trust yourself. Someone has very powerful, again, like mental capacity, mental faculties, ideas about things, ways to solve problems. Who's a good problem solver in your life? You know what I mean? Like, maybe they think different than you. I don't know. I don't feel like they're an opposite of you, but it's kind of like, because I could see where someone, for instance, has. Well, I guess we're gonna roll back around. It's going back into that when someone has a problem, if they will, or like there's something to address, and someone's like, dude, I can help you with that, but it makes a person, it's so interesting. It makes a person, the way I'm seeing it, makes a person like feel like, what you trying to say, I can't do it myself? And it's like, no, dude. No, dude. I mean, look, no judgment here. This is a human thing, right? I get it. But good job on, like, you know, because sovereignty, individuality, again, you were a very naturally independent person and you're meant to, but like it's way too heavy. Wow. That's not balanced. If, right, we have to again, because Virgo is the hermit, a very solo character, and you Aries are a very independent kind of solo character, right? Most Aries I know do not lose themselves in a relationship. As long as you believe in love, you'll never lose yourself in a relationship because you hold your own. But the point is both of these are independent, but the way to fix an inconjunction or a quincunx, this adjustment point, is to have two people do the thing. So there's going to be something this month that, again, needs another person. And as you go along, but that's the whole point, is you have this community. And maybe some of you, that's what you'll wrap your head around, is you're like, I heard, that's what friends are for. What is that song? Queen of Wands. The Lovers. The Hermit. Yeah. Three of Wands. The Justice card. I heard it again. That's what friends are for. High Priestess. That's what friends are for. I heard, because when a strong, okay, here we go, practice and wisdom. Let's close it like this. When a strong person takes the leap to teach the world through example, well, it nurtures the world. It nurtures, it helps things grow. And none of us are a solo tree. You know what I mean? That one tree in the middle of the field is always so sad. You know, it's just like, where'd all his friends and family go? That's, but there's a forest all the way around that field. But it's like what someone's focusing on. Okay. Again, that's what friends are for. I would definitely explore around your neighborhood too. There could be some kind of like, I don't know, maybe there's like a sign, or you're talking to a neighbor and all of a sudden it's like some kind of information. It could just be enlightening. It could have to do with work. It could, whatever. It could really be a lot of different things happening here. So I heard, what have you been asking Spirit for, and ways of help too? That's also something you can ask for, right? I heard, I need help with this. You know, maybe you start there if it's hard for you with the humans. Oh, that was it. We'll close it out like this. Silence in this praying card. During your prayer, if you will, I just basically it was pretty silent. We weren't trying to be like demanding these things. We were just being quiet and still, and it really replenished, it created like energy in my body. And then from there, it went into this like soft request and hangman. And actually it was, I'll take that back. There was a soft request, but after the silence particularly, there was like a message that came through. And it was something like, you're ready to do. Like, you're ready to go through, you're ready for something. So that may be just like a little indication, and even if that's just your subconscious talking to you. I don't know how you view God, but you know, that can also be a wonderful confirmation. You know, a creative way to go about it. Alrighty then. I love you so much, Aries. Happiest birthday. Thank you for being a part of this place. Yeah, I hope you have a great month. Woo! And a good birthday. And any of you who are still here, wow, this was a long reading. Thank you for your support. You know, we've been doing this a long time now. And, you know, there were times where, like, I gave up, or I felt like, you know, questioning and insecurity about things, you know, because there's been changes over the last 7 years, right? There's been changes over the last year, and those have been awesome. And the point is that I thank you for showing up. I thank you for being brave. I thank you for being vulnerable and honest, knowing your own value, peacefully handling situations, knowing when, you know, like what a challenge is, and addressing it when you can, and walking away from other things that are just overly exerting of energy. You know, learn how to make life easier on yourself, because, well, why not? I thank you. Thank you so much. All right, have a best now, and I'll talk to you next time.